Okay, let's get started. Firstly, apologize. I've been sick for 3 weeks. You might hear me. I'm coughing all day today, so if I cough during the presentation, I apologize. Yeah, been sick for 3 weeks. So today's topic is automating SCOM tasks using SMA. I couldn't come up with a fancy name because that's exactly what we're talking about. Automating SCOM using SMA. So firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Tao Yang. I'm a System Center Cloud and Data Center Management MVP. Very long title here. Four System Center MVPs in Australia, and 3 of us are in the same room. David and Daniel, they're also System Center MVPs. And my focus is heavily focused on operations manager. Although I also spend a lot of time working with other system center products such as SCCM, Orchestrator, SMA, etc. I also write management packs. Some of the management packs I've released to the public has become quite popular in the community, such as the SCOM self-maintenance management pack and SCCM 2012 client management pack. In terms of involvement in the community, I blog on my own blog and also blog cross-blog on systemcentercentral.com, and I also hang out on Twitter. It's my Twitter handle there. So let's talk about today's agenda. Can you raise your hand if you've heard of SMA before, Service Management Automation? Has anyone used it before? Yeah, I know you did. Okay, so what about SCOM? How many SCOM people are in the room? Right. Orchestrator? PowerShell? Alright, cool. Pretty good. So, given SMA is a fairly new product, I'll give a very, very short introduction. I'm not going to get into details because just simply don't have enough time. But I will have some resources, links at the end of the presentation you can get to and then learn more about it if you want to. And I'm also going to talk about my challenges when it comes into automating SCOM tasks based on my own experience. And then I'll talk about how do I go about automating SCOM using the SCOM SDK. And then I've prepared a lot of demos. So it's good that they put me on the last session, so if I go a little bit over time, I don't think anyone's going to come kick me out, because I did run out of time when I did the test run at home. I had to remove some of the demos. And in the end, we'll do some Q&A if you have any questions. Okay, so what is SMA? Service Management Automation is the full name. It has been introduced in System Center 2012 R2 release. It's a automation engine based on PowerShell workflow. So if you guys haven't heard about PowerShell workflow, looks, feels like PowerShell, but it's different than PowerShell. PowerShell workflow doesn't get executed in PowerShell. It gets compiled and executed in Windows Workflow Foundation. So, SMA can be integrated into Windows Azure Pack admin portal. As you can see here, once you integrate SMA in Web Admin Portal, it appears under the Admin tab. Automation tab. SMA is based on 64-bit PowerShell, so this is in my opinion, this is a huge advantage compared with Orchestrator, which is still based on 32-bit environment. And SMA, instead of using integration packs like Orchestrator, uses regular PowerShell modules. Many people believe that SMA and Orchestrator are better together. 2 of my fellow System Center MVPs, Michael Riefley and Marcus Klein, had this slide in their System Center Universe presentation last year. They explained that to me. They believe Orchestrator is old, it's rock solid, but it lacks some features. SMA looks like a very good concept. It's new, but it's not feature complete. So when you combine them together, you have something that is quite usable. I really like this slide, and asked them, "Can I use it?" They said, "Yeah, sure." All right. Now I'm going to talk about the challenges I've faced before when it comes to automating SCOM tasks. Let's talk about Orchestrator first. Orchestrator provides a SCOM integration pack natively. As you can see here, it has 8 activities. It's really not much. It's only 8. You can't really do much. And also, one of the prerequisites for this integration pack is that you have to have the SCOM operations console of the same version installed on your runbook designer and the runbook server. So if you're using the 2012 R2 version of the integration pack, you need SCOM 2012 R2 version of the console installed. If you're using 2007 version, you need 2007 version console installed. So how is that a problem? Because SCOM doesn't like you to mix components from different versions. You can't install 2012 and 2007 consoles on the same box. So what if you have both of them running in your environment, and you need to run runbooks for both 2007 and 2012? Then you need to have one set of the runbook designer and runbook server for a 2012 environment, and another set for a 2007 environment. Because of this prerequisite, you can't mix the consoles. Okay, and I had this issue in my production environment that, okay, so I've dedicated a runbook server for my 2007 environment, but I want to monitor this server in my 2012 environment. You can't do that because you can't install 2012 agent on a server that's got 2007 console installed. So I ended up had to do agentless monitoring on this box. So that's really some constraints from the SCOM point of view, that you can't mix different components from different versions on the same box. So what about SMA? SMA also provides a SCOM module called Operations Manager, but it is a portable module. So what is a portable module in SMA? As you can see here, that's the code from that portable module. All it does is take your input and calls the real module. So it's like a middleman or proxy. So you still have to install the real SCOM PowerShell module on all your runbook workers in SMA. All the native portable module does is just by passing this to the real module. And also, SMA today is lacking the monitoring activities. So what do I mean by that? When you design a Orchestrator runbook, you can start the runbook with a monitoring activity. So like, for example, monitoring a SCOM alert or monitoring a Sharepoint list item. There's no native ways to do that in SMA. Although there's ways that Microsoft blogged about, you can do your own customized runbook and then trigger that to run forever, and it's quite complicated. It's not something like just a drag and drop, like what we can do in Orchestrator. So now let's talk about scripting in SCOM. Every SCOM management server in 2012 has a service called Data Access Service. This service is running on every single management server in your environment. And if you run in 2007, then it is running only on your RMS. And on the top end of this diagram, you have all different kind of applications or consoles that users deal with. Either the native components like Operations Console, Web Console, the PowerShell module, or some third-party application like SquareUp and Maintenance Mode Scheduler. When they talk to SCOM, they all use the SCOM SDK assemblies. So what are the SDK assemblies? There's 3 DLLs in 2012, and I think there's 2 DLLs in 2007. So in 2012, it's 3 DLLs, and they are installed into your computer's global assembly cache. as part of the install of the management server, operations console, or the web console. So if you install any of these three components, this DLL gets installed in your global assembly cache. And this you can also find the DLLs on your management server under the install folder, server SDK binaries folder. So the key to SCOM, to write your third-party application or do your scripting for SCOM is this DLLs, the SDK assemblies. What can you do with them? Pretty much everything. Everything you can do on the console, you can use that. You can do it using the SDK. Anything you can't do in the console, you can still do in the SDK. If you find something that you can't do in the SDK, probably is something impossible. I haven't found anything that I'm not being able to do using the SDK itself. I'm going to show you some in some of my demos. I'll show you that something that I couldn't do in the console, I'm able to do it using the SDK. So how do you use this SDK in your script? Fortunately, PowerShell can leverage this SCOM SDKs directly. Firstly, all you need to do is to load the DLLs in your script in your runtime. To do that, if it's already in your global assembly cache, you just run these commands. So load system reflection assembly load, then that's the assembly's name, version number, culture public key token, etc. But if it's not in your global assembly cache, you can also load them from a folder. You can specify the path of these files and load it that way. So once it's loaded, then you should be able to connect to your management group. So to connect to your management group, firstly you need to define a connection setting. So you create a connection setting object using one of your management server's name. Optionally, if you want to use alternative credentials to connect to it, you can also specify the username and password to that connection setting. And it uses connection setting to establish the connection to your management group. So in this example here, I've saved the management group connection to this variable called mg. And also there's another object that you can create is the management group administration object. These two objects are the ones that you're going to leverage most of the time. So the management group itself and then the management group administration. So to use the management group instance, you can use it to retrieve management group information. You can create management pack elements like class definition, discoveries, rules, monitors, module types, everything you can think of. And to use the administration object, you can use that to perform admin tasks such as apply or configure management group settings, and also managing agents and management servers. Using SDK is fully documented and is fully supported. I'm not trying to hack into SCOM. This is all fully supported way to use SCOM. This is documentation here. There's a lot of code example already published on MSDN. It's just that everything that published in on this library here is written in C. You just have to convert it to PowerShell if you want to use it. And also, for those who have used my SCOM 2012 self-maintenance management pack, my management pack has also got a lot of good script examples already built in. So if you want to have a look, just download from this link here, unseal it to an XML file, and all the scripts are embedded in the XML. You can take a look and start from there. Okay, so to take what is possible with PowerShell and SCOM SDK, this is something I've been working on for the last 6 months of my spare time. I've created a custom PowerShell module, can be used in SMA as well. I give the name Ops Manager Extended. Basically, I'm extending the current module, and then using the SDK to do virtually everything you can do with Ops Manager. So what I've done here, can you guys see the code here? I've copied these 3 DLLs in the same in the PowerShell module folder, and because I can retrieve the module folder path using this command here, so get module, my module name, and the module base. This returns the path of the module where it is on the file system. I can use this path as my path to my DLLs, and I'll be able to load the DLLs from the module path. So everything I need is saved in the same folder. It kind of create a bubble. I don't need anything else. I don't need any SCOM components to be installed on the box that where I'm going to run a script from, because all I need is 3 DLLs and it's already in there. This module can be used as a SMA integration module. I've defined some connections in the module. In SMA you can create a connection object to your SCOM environment, or you can use it as a normal PowerShell module. Just copy that folder to somewhere on your computer to on your module directory in PowerShell. But just one thing keep in mind is I'm directly dealing with SMA, with the PowerShell module SDKs. You can't run the existing native SCOM module commandlets from there, because that's something built on top of it. I'm leveraging DLLs underneath that, so you have to deal with the SDK directly. So where am I at? I'm at final testing phase. Everything is pretty much done. I just need to do some more testing and send off to a few other SCOM MVPs, get them tested and reviewed. But in the initial release, I've included 29 functions in this module. So I've categorized them into 4 parts. So the black ones are the ones that everyone uses to deal with the SDK and then connect to establish connections to a management group. And then the green ones are the administrative tasks. The red ones are what I call the basic authoring tasks, where you can do some rules and monitors, overrides, groups, etc. New management pack, delete management pack. And I have some more advanced authoring tasks. Right now, what I've done is just to automate the creation of a TCP port monitoring the whole management pack created by the SDK. This is my last demo. I'm going to show you later on. So let's keep moving. So once you load this module in SMA, so for those who don't know SMA, so you take a normal PowerShell module, you zip it to a zip file, zip the whole folder, and upload to SMA. And also in some of the modules, you create a JSON file where you can define your connections, define the fields, the connection fields you want to save, and then SMA take that and then creates a connection type. So I've created a connection type called Operations Manager SDK. You need to create a connection to your SCOM environment. Just give it a name, whatever name you want, and then use one and specify the computer name of one of your management server, and the username and password of someone who's got a SCOM admin access. Okay, so I talked about how I'm going to use SMA to communicate with SCOM. Let's talk about the overall user experience, or the overall solution. How is everything? How is the user going to interact with that? So I categorized it into 3 components. Firstly, we have the user interfaces, where the user initiate requests, submit requests. Then we have the automation engines, have SCOM, Orchestrator and SMA together, working together. And then the application, of course, is SCOM. That's where the automation is going to target against. So if you want to stay everything inside System Center and want to be ITIL compliant, then you probably want to go with Service Manager. Service Manager has got connectors to both Orchestrator and SMA that can talk directly to Orchestrator or SMA. But in my lab environment, I also found Sharepoint list is also a very good candidate. It's very user friendly. User can just fill out the list, and then I'll use Orchestrator to monitor the Sharepoint list. So in all the demos I'm going to show you now, I'm going to use a Sharepoint list as the user interface, and using Orchestrator to monitor the Sharepoint list. And once something is found, Orchestrator is going to grab the information and then go, hey, SMA, go execute this runbook now. This is all the user input. And SMA is going to execute the runbook against SCOM. And then once everything is finished, it's going to write the result back to Sharepoint, either using Sharepoint web-based API, REST API, or the Sharepoint client component SDK. So in my scripts, in my runbook samples, I'm going to actually use both. Right, so let's start the demo. The first demo I'm going to show you is copy management group settings between management groups. So for the environment that I'm working on, we have multiple management groups in the production. As a SCOM admin, sometimes it's very frustrating to keep all the settings between management groups in sync. So by doing this runbook, I'll show you how do I copy all the existing settings from your management group A, and then apply the same settings to another management group. Let's switch back to my demo environment. Okay, so notice the management group name here. This management group is running on the cloud, and also have another management group. This is running in my home lab. Two management groups. So the one in my home lab is going to be the source management group. I'm going to copy everything, all the settings from my lab to the cloud. Just to show you before I do the copying, few settings here. So notice the data grooming settings. Everything is set almost everything is set about 3 days in this management group. And 7 days on the other management group. And also, the heartbeat interval is set 90 seconds for the one on the cloud. And 60 seconds on the one in my lab. Okay, so now let's start the runbook. Right, so while the runbook is running, I can show you the code here. I've created 2 connection objects in SMA. One is for my home lab. The other one is for the one in Windows Azure. So obviously there's some settings that's only management group specific, like the web console URL, data warehouse database name, server name, etc., etc. These settings I don't really want to copy it. If I copy it across, I'm going to break the other management group. And so I've added them into a array list. So firstly, I get all the default settings from my source management group, and then I loop through each setting. So if the value is not empty, and it's not contained on this array list, now I'm going to apply this setting to the destination management group. And then once it's done, it's actually going to send me an email using a customized email integration module I've written. The link is also included at the end of the presentation. All right, let's see if it's finished. Still running. It's completed. Okay, so now let's go back. I need to close it and then reopen it. Everyone's so quiet. Anyone got any questions? No? All right. Okay.
How much work do you find that this saves you? So, because obviously, in order to go down this automation path, you've got to invest quite a lot of time
Yep.
into the build side of it. Presumably, you wouldn't do that unless there's payoff.
Basically, I did just out of interest, and I never thought about the commercial side of things, and also I had a chat with a few other MVPs during the MVP summit last year, and I think it would be quite helpful if you're running a multi-tenant SCOM environment. You can just get your client to come specify what they want to monitor, and then go. You don't have to even have to get involved. And also using the native PowerShell module, there's quite a lot of limitations. You can't do everything. So in order to automate it, you have to use the SDK. All right, as you can see, everything has changed from 7 to 3 days. And then the heartbeat interval is also changed to 60 seconds. It was 90 seconds before. All right. So this is my first demo. All right, the second demonstration I'm going to perform, actually the number is wrong. I'm going to perform 4 tasks. So firstly, I'm going to create a blank management pack using this SDK. And also, secondly, I'm going to create a performance monitor saved in the new management pack I've just created. So, put my user hat on. I'm going to be doing this as a user. And the third one is going to be an automated task that I'm going to be running on a daily basis. I'm going to bring out all my management packs in my management group and then populate that onto a SCOM list. Onto a Sharepoint list. So when the user is happy with the monitor I've just created in the testing environment, I go, okay, I'm happy. Then they can simply go to this list and either say, I want to flip this into my production. And once I update the Sharepoint list, this management pack is going to be copied to production. By copying, I'm not talking about exporting the XML and importing back. I'm talking about real-time copying it. So there's no export and import involved. All right, so the management pack I'm going to be creating today, this one and the one after that, is all going to be named. The name also all going to start with T Yang SMA. As you can see, there's nothing here at the moment, and there's nothing on. There's nothing here. Alright, so firstly, let me go back to SharePoint. Create a management pack. Oh, sorry, I should trigger that from here. New SCOM management pack. New item. I'm just going to copy and paste all the information in. So the name is the internal name. It's different than the display name in SCOM. You can give a version number. And once I hit and save, there's an Orchestrator runbook that monitors this particular SharePoint list. Monitors the new item of this list, and once it's detected, you use a PowerShell command to kick off the SMA runbook. Yep. So all the SMA, the information about the SMA server and the web service endpoint, and all the credentials are saved as Orchestrator variables. I'm just retrieving those variables and then calling the runbook in SMA. Show you the code. So I'm doing a bit of validation on the name. The name can only contains the number letters and then the dot in between, and then I'm calling this command, this function from my integration module. So this is the part that create a management pack, and I also create, if I also specify the description field, which is optional, so then it's going to put in the description as well. I hard code to say that default language code is the English United States, and then while I'm creating the management pack, I also say, okay, so I need to do a reference management pack to the Microsoft System Center library. So this management pack is going to be referenced in every unsealed management pack that I'm going to create. So once the object is created, it's actually staying in the memory of where you're running the script, and then it's going to get imported into your management. Into your management group. That's using that MG variable I was talking about before. So now let's have a look, see if the runbook has finished. Yes, has. I might have to close and open. Oops. Alright, while we're waiting for this to load, let me kick off the next step, which is creating a monitor. Oops. So let me this time I'm going to create a performance monitor by using a SharePoint list. The monitor name is going to be called memory.pagefile per second monitor. Going to give a display name. page fault per second is the counter name. Object name is memory. I'll give a threshold of 150. 150. Oh. So the unhealthy condition is going to be over the threshold. So when the threshold is over 150, the monitor is going to become unhealthy, and the unhealthy state I'm going to choose error. So this is where that can be helpful when you're running a multi-tenant SCOM environment. You can define different groups for different customers. When you create this monitor, you have a choice. Say, do I want to apply this monitor to everyone in this class, or a subset of the boxes, like in one of the particular group? Maybe I should name the groups differently, say customer A, customer B, but just to reflect my lab environment, I created 4 groups for different applications. So for example, this one here, I'm just going to choose SQL Server. Okay, it's going to start. So what this one does, to create performance monitor, firstly I'm going to create the monitor by using the command here, passing all the information here. The command is new OM2 state performance monitor, and because I've chosen a group instead of the whole class, when this monitor gets created, it's going to be disabled by default, and also I'm going to create an override. So if the group is not null, I'm going to create an override to turn on this monitor for this particular group. So just think about if this group is a customer A, and your customer A is going to be turned on, and then the rest of the customers are not going to get this monitor. So once it's created, it's going to go update the SharePoint list using a SharePoint list module that I've created. It's also posted on my blog. You can use this to easily manipulate a SharePoint list item. Yeah, still running, isn't it? Close this one. Okay, finished. See, this management pack has been created. Let me just export it and show you the code in there. Right, so this is what everything is contained in the management pack. I have a monitor created and disabled by default. Then I have an override also created to enable the monitor using against that SQL group. Okay, so now, so assume that you, the SCOM user or SQL admin, whatever, spend some time, tested it, and then want to migrate this monitor, flip this monitor back to your production environment. So assuming I have a job that's scheduled to run every day called popular MP list. So before I run that, I just want to make sure it's not actually in there at the moment. So it's a T Yang SMA. Alright, let me delete this one. And kick off this runbook. So I need to specify some. So the name of the SMA connections for my on-prem SCOM environment, and also the connection name for the Sharepoint site, and the Sharepoint list name is on-prem MP list. So what this one does, popular MP list. What this one does is simply hold on. Yep. Simply get all the management packs from my management group, and then work out, is this one already exist? If yes, then has any of the properties been updated? If it is, then it's going to update the existing Sharepoint list item. Otherwise, it's going to create a new one on the Sharepoint list. And after that, there's no Sharepoint list to write back to the result. So that's finished. Let me just refresh this page. Yeah, here we go. It's new. Alright, so now I'm the SCOM user. I'll put my user hat on. I'm happy with the monitor I just created, and I want to flip that to the other management group. So just update this field here and click on save. And then there's a runbook called copy unsealed MP. This one is going to kick off in a minute. Yep, here we go. So what this one does, so this one connects to both environments. First, both SCOM management groups, and simply using one command to copy the management pack. So if you look at this this command in my function in my module, copy OM. It's really simple here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm reading the XML of the pack for my source management group, and then simply create a new management object, management pack object in the destination, and then just injecting all the XML into this pack and then save it. That's all. No import and no export or import involved in copying the management packs. Still running, isn't it? All right. Yeah, finished. Let me start. Yeah, I think the because every time I do something on the back end, I have to close the console, refresh it to be able to see that in the console. And this is the most time-consuming part, just to open and close the consoles. Yeah, here we go. Now, instead of looking at the code, I'll just show you what does it look like from the console itself. So this is the one that I've just created. I've got a performance counter here, interval hard coded to 15 minutes in the runbook, and the threshold value 150. Health critical. Alert is configured as well. And this is the override I've also created for this SQL group. Okay, so now this is my second demo. Got one more left, so bear with me. Alright, so has anyone used the TCP port monitoring template in SCOM console? Yeah? Okay. So what this does is create a watcher node object, couple of groups, some and the discoveries, data source module type, 4 monitor types, and a performance rule, and 4 unit monitors. So initially, when someone suggested me to put this code into my module, I thought, oh yeah, that's easy. There's a code already on one of Microsoft's blogs and how to just create an instance of this template. It's like 10 lines of code. But when I really look at it, I really don't like what this template creates. So I thought I'll take the extra step to create all of these objects by myself using PowerShell scripts. And it took me a week and 1,200 lines of code to generate this management pack. So let me kick off the runbook, then I'll show you what I mean by I'm not happy with it, and I'll show you what the differences are. Okay, so again, I'm going to initiate using Sharepoint. Give a name. So the monitor name is pretty much a prefix for all the instances it's going to create. It's going to have this prefix here. And I give a title, which is the display name. A management pack. I'll specify a management pack that doesn't exist. The runbook is going to detect, okay, so this management pack doesn't exist. I'm going to create it first and then save everything into this. So the monitoring target is I'm going to try to monitor my SCOM database server on port 1433, which is a SQL port. And I'm going to use these 2 servers in my lab to be the watcher node. And I want to run this every 2 minutes. And click on save. Yep, it's going to kick off. Okay, so if you use a template from the console itself, firstly, so it creates a watcher class. It creates 2 groups. One is an instance group, one is a computer group. They created for overrides, and also you have the module types, data source type. So this why do you have to hard code these values in the data source module where you can, if you variabilize it, you can reuse this module on other monitors. But if you create a data source module like this, you're going to have to create the same module again and again every time you create an instance of this template. You should be able to variabilize all the values instead of hard coding this. That's my first problem. Second problem, it creates 4 unit monitor types. So basically, when you use the data source to detect the return code of that port monitoring, there's a return code, the status code. So based on different status code, you can detect different conditions. For example, timeout, connection refuse, DNS resolution failure, etc. So these 4 unit monitor modules, they're identical except this number here. Again, why can't we just variabilize it and use one module instead of 4? And why wouldn't you just put in one of your Microsoft's own management pack and referencing that instead of creating these monitor types again on different every time you create a template? I don't know. So I really don't like it. And the other thing is, does anyone know? Yeah.
So this is the issue creating the XML file.
Now this is the issue if you use the built-in template from the SCOM console. This is what's created.
Because you can create,
you can variabilize this number.
Yeah,
you can pass this this variable into your monitor type instead of hard coding them.
So does the code create the XML file?
It does. So I'm going to show you the code. After showing this, and then after my runbook finishes, I'm going to show you what my code creates comparing to this one. Okay. Let me ask a question. Does anyone know when you go to the Health Explorer and you click on Recalculate Health, does anyone know what does it do? So, and has anyone ever thought, it doesn't do anything. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's like a mystery. So Recalculate Health triggers what's it called a on-demand detection in your defined in your monitor type. So in your monitor type, you always have to have a regular detection. I'll show you in here. You always have to have a regular detection. This runs according to your data source. But if you want to manually trigger that, that's called on-demand detection. That's triggered by clicking on Recalculate Health from the Health Explorer. You don't always have to. It's optional. You don't have to include this in your monitor type. But if you don't include it, and then when you click on the button in your Health Explorer, it does nothing, and it doesn't tell you, I'm not going to do anything. There's no warning. There's no way to tell from the console itself. In this scenario, it's absolutely possible to also include a regular detection in here. So why can't I just click on it and then you trigger another TCP port probe and it tell me the return code? Why do I have to wait for another 2 minutes? So, and that I think that's something that should be included in this module as well. So after I see all this, I go, okay, I'm not really happy with it. I'm going to create everything using PowerShell on my own. Right. That is finished. Yep. Here we go. So this is the code that my PowerShell script generated, the management pack. You see here? It's all passed in as variables, interval seconds, server name, port. So this means when you use this data source module, either in your rule or in your monitor type. You just have to enter that in your monitor. When you create a monitor, enter these values, and then that gets created. So you can keep reusing this module for other monitors, not just one. And also, for monitor types, why do I have to use 4 different monitor types when the only thing different is the return code, which you can variabilize as well? So instead of creating 4 almost identical ones, I just created 1, but variabilize the only thing that's different, the return code. And the other thing I included is the on-demand detection. So I made that recalculate health button work in this module here. Yep, and then also everything else is pretty much the same. You have the discoveries for the virtual objects and the 2 groups, and I have the performance collection rule and the 4 monitors, all based on the same monitor type. And override to only turn on the discovery for those 2 computers I've specified. That's how the concept behind this template. All right, this concludes my final demonstration. Has anyone got any questions so far? Right. Okay. Okay. So I've talked about SMA briefly. And all the modules I've used here are all written by myself. But the main one is the Ops Manager Extended. It's going to be released very soon. Once I release it, I'm going to publish on my blog. And also the couple of other modules I used with SharePoint and email and all that. And then also there's a runbook I used to also use the SharePoint web-based REST API to update the SharePoint list. And this is also published on my blog. So if you want to learn more about SMA, there's a really good white paper. If you want to learn, I strongly recommend it to read it. I read it as a Bible twice. It's really, really good. And there are also some good presentation recordings about SMA you can learn about. And also, in terms of SCOM, if you want to get into management pack development, and this is the one I was talking about, the online authoring course, and also the SDK and a couple other blogs. That's really good. Got a lot of MPDAV and SDK related topics. And then all the SCOM blogs that I follow, the usual suspect I call it. So, anyone got any questions? Yes, David.
What's the main reason for still using Orchestrator to call your SMA runbooks?
Because of the monitoring activities.
Okay.
It's just easier for me to use Orchestrator to monitor SharePoint list item, rather than create a SMA runbook to monitor that.
Thank you.
No worries.
So if Microsoft went ahead and put in some kind of monitoring action or activity to PowerShell.
Hopefully next release, if they do, then I can stop using Orchestrator. That's the only reason they just monitor these items and then trigger SMA runbooks. Just easier for me to do.
So creating the 3600 schedules is really an option.
Yeah. Just on the other topic that David mentioned, that if you want to schedule a runbook in SMA at the moment, it's either daily or one time only. Is that right? Hourly, daily.
Daily, and that one.
It's really, really inflexible. So if you want to run every 5 minutes, then you gotta create how many? You just have to create multiple ones. All right. So if no one has any questions, thank you for attending my session, and have a good weekend. I hope I didn't put everyone to sleep. Thank you.